Okay, so Emmanuel Hall, second vlog, second section of Emmanuel Hall. So this next bit is about once we got our final designs signed off, putting them on the walls. It was a real organisational thing to get all the sketches and all the designs we had on the walls in sections where they needed to go, being able to look up and see what you're working towards, which is really helpful. That was Nigel's suggestion, to like cover the walls in our designs and have clear cut sections for each of them. So that's one of the first things we did. We had a little board and a to-do list and the budget as well, just to keep nice and organised. That was me, because I like to keep organised. And then the next thing we started doing was starting going out into town, loads of trips into town actually, buying and sourcing from online, so working with the teams, I think Jordan up in the CCI, sending him links of everything we needed to buy online, and like so it would get ordered in time, you know, so it's there for the show and also there in time for us to make any adjustments if it needs to be adjusted or changed, or if anything's wrong, to problem solve it. And then also going into town and just looking at what we can find there, going in charity shops to save on the budget, going in Primark because it's cheaper to just bulk buy things, like the t-shirts for the fairies. We bulked buy, like, so after getting the sizes of the fairies from the fittings a couple of weeks back, bulk buying the sizes of the shirts we needed, and just pilfering around all the different shops to find everything that we could get, so that we could start actually seeing the costumes in flesh. We also watched a lot of rehearsals, watched a lot of run-throughs, you know, like popping into rehearsals whenever we could, but also watching the full run-throughs of Act 1 and Act 2, so that we, you know, saw what the show looked like and could visualise our costumes on stage. Throughout this, I made a ton of notes on movements of the characters, so thinking, for example, Lily's in a skirt, she's meant to be in a skirt in this scene, but she rolls around on the floor, so maybe I could suggest to the lovers that they put some leggings on underneath this skirt so that she's not, you know, exposing herself. Or trying to like figure out how long the mechanicals' costumes would take to put on, to see if we could, you know, maybe do makeup with them or not. And also talking about like maybe shoe wear and stuff like that, whether it needs to be slippy or not. A couple notes about characterization as well. I took a lot of notes on the moon, because I knew I'd be designing the moon's makeup at some point, so talking about how she moves, the facial expressions she has, so I could work with placements of potential tribal face paint, and so seeing like what sort of quality of like look I'd need to make her face look like serene, but also have like a kind of wrath to her, like a godlike judgment, which is something I brought forward to my designs a lot later on, from looking back at my notes, other notes on characterization, about mechanicals and stuff like that, thinking about like what quirks would be shown through all of our individual costumes and how well that would look, making the decision to fray the edges of the patches on Polly Quince's skirt so that she didn't look too put together. So that's something I did. So after making all those notes and being able to make improvements and adjustments to that, reflecting on after my own notes and analysing how I would change the costumes and other things like that, we also had production meetings. I should have mentioned this in the last vlog, but I didn't. So we basically had 2 reps for every production meeting to go to, and to talk about, like, represent the team and talk about, like, what colours costumes were, what things we needed to be done, but also taking that opportunity to talk to like lighting, to see if there were any colours we couldn't use for the supernatural face paint, to see how like Titania was going to lie in the balcony, the hammock, because there was talk of her having a cape the whole way through, so talking about potentially getting the cape to be the same material as the fabric, so that we could report back to our team and talk to them about things we'd had from the meeting and notes that we could talk to them, so that they could bring those back and bring that into their costumes and bring that into their designs, so that we're all working as a massive company, which is what we all want. So yes, and yeah, lots of notes, lots of getting quick notes, getting quick talks with Nige and Bex and stuff whenever we can, to then respond in those notes and make changes, like fraying the denim, patches on the shirts and stuff like that. Yeah, so lots of back and forth, which is, you know, perfect. That's the kind of environment we want to be working in when we're doing a show. Cool. So then my targets for that section was keeping the room organised, because what I didn't want was the costume dungeon to be a complete mess and there be designs everywhere. Loads of people just sitting around doing nothing sometimes because there's nothing to do. So that was a target I definitely hit. I kept a clear to-do list on the board that got ticked off. We had all of the cast's sizes and shoe sizes on the walls. We had measurements on the walls. We had all sorts. So really keeping it organised and keeping it, you know, like a clean, good work environment to work in. And then another target that I had, which I brushed on last week, was to be able to pull together an ensemble after the problems I had last section, so that I can, you know, keep with the teamwork, keep professional. I say, once again, I definitely did that because of the nature of this next section. It was loads of talking, loads of communication. Mabel was sending emails that had all of our notes in it every single time. She was taking on that responsibility. And we just, I keep saying we pulled together an ensemble, but ensemble is something I'm going to talk about the whole time, like, quite frankly. But yeah, we really pulled together as a team, and feeling that pulling together as a company after meeting all the people who'd be running separate things in the meetings, and also getting to talk to the actors, being down in Emmanuel Hall. We had mechanicals popping in to check on their designs, people visiting whenever they could to, like, talk about costumes, or even just to get to know us as a company, and then working with stage management as well, because they had a lot of props, so deciding what classifies as a prop, what classifies as a costume. So yeah, ensemble's been great. Some problems we had this section was one of the lovers' costumes, I think Lysandra, was falling a little bit flat. I can't remember whose it was, but the design wasn't up to it, and when the redesign came, there wasn't a redesign, so we all sat around with Nige, and he had actually gotten Lottie to give us a mood board of the character, which I think is a great way to further the talking we had with them earlier on in the week. So things like pictures of what she thought she wanted, colour schemes, how she wanted her hair. So then we all sat round after having a look at that, and our solution to the problem was to sit and have a design for the lovers together as a group instead of just one person doing it. It just meant that we got it done in time, we could be able to source it easily, and it wasn't a stress at the back of our mind just to get it done together as a group. And also Lysandra being one of the queer characters, and 3 of us on the costume team being queer, I think, maybe I don't want to, like, out anyone, but we have experience in queer fashion, and we see it in online communities, and I don't think the person who had Lysandra had taken that into account, had researched into the joy of LGBT fashion as much as they could have. So by the end of it, we had Lysandra looking very hipster, very, like, modern, young person, LGBT, which I think fits the brief of the character perfectly, fits the brief of the bringing Midsummer Night's Dream to a modern performance, and also, you know, validates queer people, because instead of talking over them and just assuming, you got actual opinions from actual gay people and actual non-aligned people, which was fun. And then another problem as well was redesigning certain costumes to be more movable. I made Amber's skirt come down a little bit longer. Well, I hadn't made it yet, but in my mind when I decided to make it, making it a little bit longer, so that, and having, like, a bigger triangle at the back so that she could have more movement, because I noticed she ran a little bit. And then the same with leggings on Lily, because she rolled around on the floor, so talk about putting leggings under it instead of just having her in a skirt, and lots of different adjusting our costumes and moving forward from notes this week. So yes, that was our problems. Those were some of our problem solving examples. Yeah, this week, I keep saying week, I'm just going to keep doing it. Yeah, this section felt really great, and it felt really good to start like actually seeing the costumes physicalized and seeing our ideas and creations coming to life. Well, especially with someone who's not very costumey, I'm more makeup-y, but seeing that come to life and like actually realizing, okay, I've done a good job. A little bit, just the beginnings of that. We definitely saw that a lot during show week, which I'll talk about in my evaluation. But yes, that was Emmanuel Hall vlog 2. Woo!